Hi everyone, Earnest Mukama, and I'm going to take us through risks and risk management. These are uncertainties that happen within a project and they can disrupt your project, and there is a need to manage them, which brings us to the concept of project management. Yes, allow me go straight to the presentation. What is a risk? And what is risk management? A risk is a possibility that an undesired outcome or the absence of a desired outcome disrupts your projects. This is to say that if something happened, either you have missed what you expected, or you have not achieved what you wanted, it can disrupt your project. That is a risk. And we are saying that it is the possibility that an undesired outcome can happen or can disrupt your project. So they happen as a surprise and always involve a possibility of loss. They always involve a possibility of loss. So, this is an unexpected event that can disrupt your project. We should take it as such, and then it happens as a surprise and always involves a possibility of a loss. However much some risks come with a gain, but the highest percentage is a loss. Then what is risk management? It is the activity of identifying and controlling the undesired project outcomes proactively. That one brings me the concept of proactive risk management, but we shall talk about it later. And we are saying that it's an integral part of the project management and should occur as naturally as managing a schedule. Most projects have failed and most organizations have failed just because they do not manage risks during the course of activity. And I should say that there is a need for us to always manage risks to avoid losses within our projects or within our organizations. Then risk models and the standard risk model. What is a risk model? It is a technique or method that simulates the events that may occur in the real world, such as the events that can affect project objectives. So we are saying that this is a technique or this is a method this is a step-by-step methodology that you can use to simulate the event or to simulate the risk that may occur within the real world and can affect the project objectives. So we are saying that modeling a risk allows you to quantify its magnitude, so it can be compared to other risks to determine which ones need to be managed. Certain risks not need to be managed. As I've said, certain risks can lead to a gain. Those ones may not need to be managed, but then certain risks must be managed for us to be successful in our projects or in our organization. And this points us towards the root cause so that we can effectively resolve the risks. We go deep to know where it started from and its impact, and then we resolve it effectively. Then we are saying that the standard risk model is the most helpful of the typical risk models for the comprehending project risk and associated cost. Components of the standard risk model: we have a risk event, and we are saying that this is an event that triggers a loss. This is something that will tell you that this risk can really trigger a loss to my organization or to my project. Then risk event driver. This is something that will drive you or that will make you to believe that a particular risk can surely occur during the project. Then the probability of risk event, the likelihood that a risk will occur. It is always 1 out of 2. I think from primary I've always known that probability is 1 out of 2, but I don't know how you know it, but it is the likelihood that a risk will occur. Then the impact of the risk. What will be the outcome if this risk happens? What will be the result? That is the impact of a risk. Then impact driver, something within the project environment leading one to believe a particular impact could occur. This is something that will drive you to make you believe that surely if this risk happened, this impact will come along with it. Then the probability of impact, the likelihood that an impact will occur after risk has occurred. Then total loss, the magnitude of actual loss, value occurred when, accrued when a risk event occurs. Then from there we shall look at the 5-step process of managing risks. Some books and some other people will tell you that there are 6 steps, but according to me there are 5. That is my idea. There are 5, and I know you will surely believe with me by the end of this presentation. And the first step, I'm saying that it is identify risks and their impacts. That is the first step always. Do an investigation. Identify and know which risk is happening at which time, which risk can happen because of what. You understand? And then that should be during the planning. Like when you're planning, consider this within your project plan and know that we shall surely need to manage the risks that can come with certain things. And this, we are saying that it involves brainstorming session run by a skilled or independent facilitator. Yes, here you can sit and say, according to what I'm seeing, maybe out of experience, out of what you have seen before, you say that according to what I'm saying, there is a certain risk that is going to occur. That is identification of a risk. Then after identifying a risk, you go ahead and analyze. The risk. And this involves deciding which risk is significant enough to manage actively. At this level, you shall document, you shall calculate, you shall look at the possible impacts of the risk, and we shall come up with which one should we go about first and which one should we go about after which one. Then prioritizing and mapping risks. After you have analyzed, you have identified the risk, you have analyzed it, you now you prioritize, because there will be many. If you have come up with 10 risks that are possible, there is a possibility of 10 risks to occur, which one should we manage first? That is prioritizing and mapping risks. Then planning the resolution. After you have prioritized, you now say, how can we deal with it? How can we deal with that risk that is actively going to happen? We are saying that formulate action plans to deal with each active risk, reducing the probability of the risk event and reducing its damage if it does occur. If it occurs, yes, because it can go beyond your management and it occurs, the damage at least should be too negligible, and that can only occur when you have done the identification, the analysis, and then you have prioritized and you have now formulated an action plan. Then after that, monitor the project risk. This is the main management process. We are saying that the last step of the risk management process is ensuring that those action plans that you have made, they are progressing properly, and that success plans are retired, and any significant new or growing risks are taken under management. This is where many organizations fail, and then the whole process fall apart. Maybe they have formulated the action plans, but then they do not go ahead to take them on, and that's how they fail. That's how most of the projects fail. Yes, so our steps are: identify the risk. After identifying, go ahead and analyze. After analyzing the risks, prioritize. Look for which one should we go by, who should we attend to first. Then plan the resolution or formulate action plans. Then monitor the project risks. You will find the 6th. I will not mention it now, but when you find it, don't have questions. Risk management approaches and strategies. Which strategy can we really lay to manage risks? Which approaches? How can we go about it? Which steps should we follow? And we are saying that in order to implement the process, a company or a project team may need to make certain changes in attitude and behavior. Certain risks happen because of our attitude and behavior. Our attitude towards certain things can lead to risks. And then we are saying that if we have to implement the process, we may need to make certain changes in our attitude and our behavior. Learn to avoid risk when it is unnecessary. Learn to avoid risk when it is unnecessary. At least start, because risks can come with the designers. A designer is not happy with the boss and with the project manager, and they are doing their own things. So at least learn to start rewarding those designers that use standard parts to reuse successful part designing new products to reduce design risk. Yes, design risks can happen during the designing process, but then at least have the encouragement for them, have some encouragement to make sure that they can do successful designing. Maintain contact with customers to find out what they need before designing a product and during development. This one can overcome this thing like you are designing the system and you're not getting back to the stakeholder or to the client to know what does he want, what does he not want. And at the end of it all, they do not adopt your system. That is a risk also, but then you have to overcome it first. Tackle the highest risk items first. We talked about prioritizing within the steps, and we are now saying tackle the highest risk item first. That very risk that you're looking at, and you know that if this one happened, it will waste all the resources and it will lead to the breakdown of my project. Tackle that first. Then test at the lowest possible level. When you're developing your system, keep testing, keep doing the test. When you have done something, test that. That one will make you not to incur risks. Then use failure to your advantage by using product development as a learning process. Sometimes we'll be afraid of failures. Yet those failures, it's where we learn something out of them. We learn how to improve our project to the next level. Or maybe if a failure has happened within this project, if you're in another project, learn from that very failure for you to come up with a successful one this time around. Then successful implementation of the risk management process. How can we implement the risk management process successfully? First of all, do not expect to implement the process with one project and have it spread to the rest of the company. Sometimes project managers have issues with saying that if I've done this for this project, it means it will work for the rest of the projects. No. And I'm saying it for the third time, no. If you're serious about implementing your risk management process, fit it into your you have its management process. Yes. Then proactive risk management can only take root if the team members and management are ready to adopt and change the behavior. As I said previously, I said that in order to implement the process, sometimes the project team needs to make certain changes in attitude and behavior, because it is the most important thing. If we have a good behavior and attitude towards certain things, if we can adopt easily, it means we can take on the risks that are likely to happen. Those events, we can take them on. And we are saying that a risk management workshop should occur sometime during the project initiation phase. And continued management should be integral to all project phases and be treated just as serious as project scope, budgeting, scheduling, and resource allocation. As I said, it should be part of the project management process. Risk management. You should know that this is also part of my project. Risks will occur, but I will have to do what? I will have to deal with them. I will have to meet them, to face them and then overcome them. And we are saying that you'll also need to provide data management tools for tracking the substantial amount of data as you move through the process. Yes, risk management tools. What can we use? Which tools can we use to manage risks in our project? A risk register. that measure risks 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 that may be experienced in a project. That is a risk register. We are saying that it is a platform that identifies and records all the potential risks that may be experienced in a project. You have your documentation, you have your register, and you know that you have all the records of the potential risks that may occur during the project. Then the risk assessment matrix. It helps to review the data from potential risks and determines their relevance in the current project. It is an assessment matrix. It assesses, like it looks at all the potential risks and determines their relevance within the current project. Then the SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And that is, we are analyzing strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And this is used to identify and analyze both the internal and external factors that may affect the success of the project. Then reserve analysis. We have looked at risk management register, risk assessment matrix, and SWOT analysis. So reserve analysis. This it helps the project managers or the project team to discover how much money they should set aside before the project begins. How much money should we set aside when we are doing our budget? How much should we put aside for the risks that may occur? Then brainstorming. I already talked about brainstorming. You sit down and you think which risk will happen at which time, and which risk will have which impact. Then time tracking. This is the use of time and task tracking tools to monitor the progress of individual tasks regularly and ensure they are progressing. Then decision analysis. It helps to clarify situations involving uncertainty using a standard decision tree. We are saying that decision analysis here, you can go through a situation and break it down into various decisions and probabilities to determine which choice to make. This one helps us in the process of prioritizing the risks to handle first. Then sticky density. Risk areas in a process, project, or organization. So sticky density will help you to calculate which risks are happening at which point, and then you handle them also. Then guidelines to implement risk management. First of all, train new people because they have different perspective of different risks. Just train them how to consistently handle different risks. Then make risk a concern of management by training them to understand and interpret the prioritized risk list. You have prioritized which one should we go first, so train them and then make sure that they can cope with that, or they can adopt the system. Take potential problems seriously after you have prioritized. Take those potential events seriously, not only focusing on the active problems, but even those ones that are likely to happen, take them seriously. Then risk management requires honesty. Do not let engineers just run projects. I'm talking to the project managers now. Do not let the engineers run project risk management when you're not there. Be there and know which one, what they have done, and where they are taking it. Then, finally, good risk management is cross-functional. Collect and puzzle risk matrix. A good risk management is cross-functional. We did which one we did for what, which one did what. Keep altering them, and that's when it will give you results. Then project risk management is not a cure-all. It does not cure all the issues, but then it can make improvements in your project predictability. Consider risk as an opportunity for gain as well as a potential for loss. I've been talking about this statement and I need to come at the end of it all. So consider it as a possibility for gain or potential loss. That is a risk, and that is how we can manage risks. Yes, thank you for listening to me and watching my video. See you in comment section. You can ask any question, and see you in the next video. Earnest Mukama. I love you all. You get the video, you can share the video, to brother, to sibling, and I'm sure it will help them. Thank you. Have a nice time. See you. Good 0001